Shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone of whom I learned from. This is a lesson I want to go into the actual the precept where it talks about Yahweh Shai's eyes being as a flame of fire. Let me see. Flame of fire. So you have in Revelations 1:14 and Revelations 2:18. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. In Revelations 2:18, and unto the angel of the church in Thyatira write, these things saith the Son of the power, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine fine brass. I've always heard people, I don't hear as much in GMS, but I do hear other Israelite camps when they're explaining this. They always follow one of these two precepts with, because he drank wine. And in the beginning, when I was new, and I'm not saying I'm old now, I'm just, when I really didn't know anything, and I still don't know anything because I'm learning, whatever, I was like, oh, it's a good explanation. But the more I began to read and learn, and as my listening to the prophets, began to change me, and I began to learn how to read scripture in a different non-Christian way. Now I'm reading it correctly for the most part, and I'm hearing it like, just as amazing, because I'm listening to I listen to GMS on a constant basis, man, and it's just awesome how now I can hear the precepts connecting. I never used to be able to do that before I woke up, so that's amazing. But now I want to suggest that Revelations 1:14 and Revelations 2:18, I want to suggest that his eyes were as a flame of fire, and who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire. I want to suggest that is not only restricted only to Yahweh Shai drinking wine. Yahweh Shai did drink wine. But the last time he drank wine was the literal Passover that he fulfilled on the cross during his last earthly ministry when he was on the earth. And he said to the disciples, right? He said, this is the last time I'm going to drink this. So let me see if I can find that. Drink again. Let me see. Drink again. Will that pull it up? Yeah. Okay. So Matthew 26:42. He went away again the second time and prayed. Oh, let's give me that one. The past. Okay. Let me see. Drink again until the kingdom. You see, drink again until the kingdom, drink again until the kingdom. I know I'm butchering this. It's not even going to pull up. Nope. So I need to find that precept where he says, I will not drink it. So now this is what I don't like doing when I'm doing a lesson. That's why I usually have my precepts already set up, because I don't want guys to see me go to that's Wisdom of Solomon 8. I need that one for a little bit later. Let me see. I will not drink again. Let me see. Boom, right there. So let's see, it pulls it up right here. So Matthew 26:29, but I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So this is not an attack on drinking wine, fermented, real strong drink wine. That's not even the spirit. I want to say that his flaming eyes are the result of something else, not just him drinking, because right here he's having a drink, right? But this is his last time, and this is him in a ceremony that he is the actual Passover. They are not celebrating the Passover right now as we have celebrated the Passover every time we celebrated the Passover before this time, and every time we have celebrated the Passover after this time. He is literally celebrating his literal Passover because he is the Lamb of God. This is a very unique Passover, right? And they're all holy and they're all special because it has to do with what he did on the cross. But this is the actual one where he goes to the cross. This one is not a reenactment. It's the real deal. And this was the last time he sipped, right? So by the time he gets to John in Revelations, let me see, hold up, I'm gonna go back to the first chapter, right? So when John sees him here, I don't know how quickly this was after Yahushai's resurrection and his ascent back up to his Father. I believe it was some years, right? It was like John's like an older, grown, mature man now, and he's on the island of Patmos. Many people suggest he's somewhere in his 90s, late 80s. Okay, so it's safe to say some years have passed since John has literally seen Yahushai. Does that sound acceptable? Okay, so with that suggestion, when Yahushai appears to John on the island of Patmos, two things. Some years have gone by and Yahushai hasn't had a drink. Okay, he hasn't sipped anything since the last time he sipped it with John and Peter and Thomas and Matthew and Mark and everybody, right? So now he shows up, and this is years later, and Yahushai is in his glorified body. He's in his perfection. He is not as a man. He looks like a man, but he's more than that, right? He's in his perfection. So let me see. What does it say? Let me see. Yahushai. Let me see. I turn to see the voice and midst and his hair. Okay, so here we go. So Revelations 1:14. And his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. So John is looking at Yahushai many, many years after that Passover when he said, I will not drink this fruit of the cup again until I drink it with you guys in my Father's kingdom. So many, many years have passed since he had that last sip, and he is also now standing in front of John in his glorified body, bro. Like he doesn't have, our bodies get acne and bad breath and freaking, we get swellings and we have, just stuff happening inside of our bodies and we, just stuff. And bloodshot eyes is also it's a result of a response to something. I believe it's the constricting or the dilating of your blood vessels in your eyes, right? So he hasn't had a drink, and if he did, I don't think it would give him bloodshot eyes because he's got a supernatural body that's dominant. There's no sickness, no death. He is immortal. He will never die again, or he'll never know what it's like to die. He will never die again, right? So how's he got bloodshot eyes? So now I want to suggest that the reason why his eyes are like a flame of fire is because of this. So if you go into the precepts further into John, the revelation of John, here we have Revelation 5:6. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh, the Most High, sent forth into all the earth. Now look at this. First of all, horns are what? That's authority, that's power, spiritual power, military might, strategy, wisdom, all kinds of stuff, right? Dominance, violence, just complete. And he's got 7, or a perfect horn, or 7 horns. Like that's just 7, completion, perfection, right? He's got the perfect amount of power and authority and military might and violence and just and then he's got 7 eyes. He's got what is it, vision, prophecy, like wisdom, just, bro, his eye, that's, and then, and which are the seven spirits sent forth into all the earth. Okay, so having 7 horns and 7 eyes, so the 7 horns and eyes, so the 7 horns and the 7 eyes are the 7 spirits of Yahweh, right? Am I reading that right? Is that so? These are the reasons why his eyes are as a flame of fire. That's the reason. And then let's go further. It's not only, I'm not saying he didn't drink. I'm not attacking alcohol, man. That's not what this, I'm like, that's not, his eyes aren't bloodshot. His eyes are as a flame of fire because he's got complete, perfect spiritual power, man. He's not as a man, he's more. So we go here. Again, this is what he says. This is a prophecy. Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Why? Because he's got 7 horns and 7 eyes. He's more than a man now, man. He's going to kick your fucking ass. So that, we have that, and then we have this. Look, Luke 13:32. And he said unto me, go ye and tell that fox. Now, this is when he was in his earthly ministry, but look what he says. And he's talking about Herod the king, the Edomite. And he said unto them, go ye and tell that fox, behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow. So he had spiritual power right here. And in this body, he had spiritual power. But look what he says right after. And the third day I shall be perfected. 7 horns, 7 eyes. He didn't have 7 horns and 7 eyes, but he had spiritual power like a mug when he was walking the earth, right? I mean, all of his answers, his wisdom, his conduct, he was perfectly on time every time. Wherever he went, it was absolute perfection, right? Yet he's saying, after 3 days, I will be perfected. After 3 days, I will be, boom, up in here somewhere, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh, or the power sent forth into all the earth. Now he's got this, okay, as a lamb that had been slain. So he's up there after 3 days. This is what he said. After 3 days, and the third day I shall be perfected. Well, this is after the third day. Revelations 5:6, right? Now let's go further. 2nd Ezra 2:11. This is talking about the everlasting tabernacles. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give thee the everlasting tabernacle. Who are these? The elect, the 144,000 chosen, and the remaining 1/3 elect of the house of Yasharallah, right? And give these the everlasting tabernacles. These are your perfected tabernacles, which I had prepared for them. Now look at this. This is Peter, right? 2 Peter 1:14. Knowing that shortly I must put off this, my tabernacle. Why? Because it's not everlasting. Even as our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach has showed me. So right here we know that this is talking about Peter's body, that he's going to get martyred and he's going to die, right? He's got to take this body off. He's got to take this tabernacle off because he's going to eventually get one of these ones that he'll never put off ever again because it's never going to die. 2nd Ezra 2:11, right? This is where Yahweh Shai is already at now. Yahweh Shai has this body sitting next at the right hand of power, next to his Father. Now, this tabernacle that Peter's going to put off, these tabernacles get bloodshot eyes, they get bad breath, they get acne, they are subject to diseases and ailments, and they eventually age and die, and they can be killed, right? But this everlasting tabernacle, you can't kill this. This is an immortal body. This everlasting tabernacle mentioned in 2nd Ezra 2:11, it has the law, statutes, commandments written into it, right? We also will get those laws, statutes, commandments written into our minds, into our hearts, which will never die as a result. So we won't have those weaknesses. Here goes the Apostle Paul, 2 Corinthians 5:1, for we know that if our earthly house, now there goes that weaker tabernacle that Peter's talking about, he has to put off. Look at this. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, because it's dissolvable, we have a building, a everlasting tabernacle of the power and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Going back to 2nd Ezra, the everlasting tabernacle. See, I'm only suggesting this. If I'm off, I'm going off. I'll receive the correction. I've just always had a problem when I hear people break down Revelations 1 and 2 when they're talking about Yahushai's eyes being as a flame of fire, saying it's a result of him drinking alcohol. And I'm not saying this because I think he didn't drink alcohol. He very much did drink. He loved drinking wine. Culturally, ceremonially, recreationally, he did drink. But I don't know if wine is the result or the reason or the result, or you can constrict wine, and say the only reason why he has eyes is a flame of fire, that they're saying that those are bloodshot eyes. It's because of alcohol. When all of this, I'm going to keep going. Genesis, no, so this is, look at this, Genesis 1:26. And the Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, right? And over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. This is both physical, this is both talking about the animal kingdom, and this is also talking about the nations. Okay, this is the fish, the fowl. That's the nations, man. That's also the nations, and we know that Adam is Yahushai, right? So this commandment is given to Yahushai. Genesis 1:27. So the Elohim created man in his own image, and in the image of Elohim created he him, male and female created he them. And the Elohim blessed them, and the Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. I'm going somewhere with this subduction, to subdue the earth, to have dominion. And this isn't given to everybody. This was spoken to Adam, who we know is what? A representation of the chosen seed line, which would later become the Israelites, mainly talking about the elect. We understand that now. And subdue it and have, because he didn't say this to the serpent. He didn't say this to the cattle in the garden either. He said this to Adam, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth, right? Okay, now let's go to this. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. I'm not going to be able to pull it up there. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. I'm going to have to go, I'll go through Google. Salakia. I don't like going. On my personal time, when I'm not doing a lesson and not recording, I do this a lot, and I've gotten into a habit, and I need to get out of the habit because I've just gotten used to it rather than going on the blue letter, because it's easier. But I need to practice more with the blue letter. But I'm doing it now. So here you have. So look at this. You got Wisdom chapter 8, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8, and we know also now that King Solomon, the son of David, is also Yahushai. Okay, so you got Adam being given the charge to subdue the earth, right? And then here you hear now this is King Solomon, and look what he's saying. This is chapter 8, and he's talking about wisdom, right? Going into those 7 eyes and 7 horns, and just in the 7 spirits of the Most High. So wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly does she order all things. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty, in that she is conversant with the power. She magnifieth her nobility. Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her. For she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the power, or the Most High, and a lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? Some of the most amazing words I've ever read are in this book. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtue, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude. which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times. Therefore, I purpose to take her to me to live with me, knowing that she would be a counselor of good things. I'm saying all this thinking about his eyes as a flame of fire, and a comfort in cares and grief. For her sake I shall have estimation among the multitude, and honor with the elders, though I be young. I believe this is a type of a prophecy going into when he was young in the temple, when he came back again as Yahushua, and he was little, a youth. In that 3 days, he was speaking to the elders, and they were confounded. I believe that that's this right here. I shall be found of a quick conceit in judgments, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure, and when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Moreover, by the means of her I shall obtain immortality, and that's where he is now. He will never die again. He's got he's in his power, man. And leave behind me an everlasting memorial for them that come after me. That's the elect. I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall be subject unto me. He's been doing this every single time he's been on the earth, in little pieces. He did it a little bit when he was Adam, when he named all the animals. He did it again when he blessed Abraham as Melchizedek. He did it again when he was Isaac and submitted to his father going up that mountain. And then when he spoke the prophecy over Jacob and Esau, and now as King Solomon, and then when he came again, and then when he comes back. It's been an ongoing, it's an ongoing, laborious, amazing work they've been doing. With great labors I have perfected my plan. I shall set the people in order, and the nation shall be subject unto me. Look at this. Now this is gonna, I believe this is a future prophecy. This is gonna happen after. This is what, 2nd Ezra 11 or 13, when he comes back in the fathership, and he vaporizes everybody, and then he releases the hunters to go gather the remaining elect and elite of the wicked elite under the ground. This is going to happen afterwards, because then everyone's going to know Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai of hosts. Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they but hear of me. This is when he's sitting on the throne of David. I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war. Because did Solomon ever go to war? No. He was at rest because his father was at war. So what this is all I'm saying this to say Yahushai's eyes as a flame of fire in Revelations is because of all of this stuff. After I am coming into mine house. Now look at this. This is now he's now Wisdom of Solomon 8:16 is a prophecy about what's going to happen in the future when he finally does subdue. He's going to subdue the earth. Right here, Genesis 1:28. And the Elohim blessed them, and the Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it. This was spoken to Adam and his wife. And if this is possible, can I say this? I know that we say that the end dub is Eve, and we know that Eve went off, and we know that it says through Eve we all die, right? But Eve was Adam's wife, right? So what does that mean? I'm not talking about the individual Eve. I'm talking about what is she a type and shadow of? Well, what is Yasharallah as a whole done, right? Didn't we not go off? Did we not commit adultery? I'm not saying Eve committed adultery with the serpent, but she did listen to him, right? Which is a form of unfaithfulness, right? I'm throwing this out there. If I'm off on this specific suggestion about us being a type and shadow, Eve being a type and shadow of Yahushai's wife before she's cleaned up. If that's wrong, if I'm going off by saying that, I'll accept it. But I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm not saying that, I'm just saying are we not called a whore? And I think it's Ezekiel 13. Is it Ezekiel 13 when he's, hold on, let me see. I gotta come back to, no, I want to stay here. I'll use another app. Hold on. Ezekiel 13. Salakia. Okay, let me see if I got it. I think it's Ezekiel 13. Oh, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the people of Israel, prophesy and say unto, well, unto them foolish prophet. No, 16. Hold up, man. Now I gotta in that. Hold on, Salakia, please. In thy blood, in thy blood. Ezekiel. Okay, it's 16. Yep. And when I passed by thee and saw thee, okay, yep. So, all right, okay. So look at this. Just, I'm going somewhere, right? Look what we are called in Ezekiel. This is heavy. Okay, again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. Okay, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother a Hittite. And as for thy nativity, and in the day thou wast born, thy navel was not cut, neither wast thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou wast not salted at all, nor swallowed at all. None I pity thee to do any of these things unto thee. This is the nations he's talking about, the rest of the planet. Nobody's ever gave a two craps about the Israelites. To have compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person in the day that thou wast born. And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thine own blood. I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou wast increased and waxing great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. Now when I passed by thee, I looked upon thee. Behold, the time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee. Why? To cover our nakedness, and covered thy nakedness. How did he cover our nakedness? Genesis, when we're coming out of Egypt, what is the first holiday we get? The Passover, the new moon, the head of the year. We are told how to tell time. We are given our first high holy day, which involves blood from a firstborn lamb, which is a type and shadow of Yahweh Shai. And from then on there, we would receive the laws, the statutes, the commandments, and all the rest of the holidays. That's the covering, man. His ways, and eventually on top, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, right? Just like he made a coat of skin for Adam and Eve in Genesis, he didn't make a coat of skin for Adam and Eve, for the serpent, and he didn't make a coat of skin to cover the nakedness of the cattle, who are also a representation of the nations. He only made a coat of skin for Adam and Eve, and Adam is Yahweh Shai, right? Then Yahweh Shai comes back to see Abraham as Melchizedek, and what does Yahweh Shai do as Melchizedek for Adam? He blesses Adam, going into, I can only do what I see my father do. So as Adam, Yahweh Shai as Adam receives redemption from his father and correction, the balance. He also got cursed, but he got, I want to say he got chastised. He did get cursed, but he also got skins, a coat of skin to cover his sin. The Most High, he only cursed the serpent. He didn't make no coats of skin for the serpent. And we see right there, so salvation is only for the Israelites, because he didn't put a covering on the serpent. And we know that the serpent was also a man, right? So then Yahushua comes back as Melchizedek, blesses Abraham, goes back up, comes back down years later through Abraham into Sarah, and comes through as Isaac, right? Submits to Abraham on the mountain, gets on the altar at Abraham's command, type and shadow of him listening to his father up the Most High. By himself, he's on that altar. He fulfills that, grows up to be a man, marries his wife, speaks the prophecy over Jacob and Isaac, right? That he's been doing all of this, man. And now here we are in Ezekiel, and this is the Most High speaking to us. I'm trying to say that there's a type and shadow of us in Eve. Because Yahweh Shai had a wife, and he's going to have a wife in the future, right? And she will be made white and pure. But look what we are called here. Because Eve, nobody likes Eve, man, right? Because of what she did. She gets a bad rap. In some ways, rightfully so. But look right here. Look what the Most High is saying. So we get all this, right? Then wash thee with water. Yeah, I thoroughly wash thee. Look at all this stuff that was done for us by our husband, right? Washed, we're beautified, we're decked out, we're covered, we're clothed, and then washed. And I washed thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin, and I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and and I put jewelry on thy forehead. I'm going to start skipping, okay? I mean, just all kinds of bomb stuff, right? Thou hast also taken thy fair jewels, and thy gold, and thy silver, which I had given thee, and madest to thyself images of men. So it starts getting all this nasty stuff. And somewhere in here, he calls us a harlot, bro. Thou that hast slain thy children. We were sacrificing our children on the altars right there, verse 21. Thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them. That's Moloch. We were sacrificing the holy seed, man, to Moloch, y'all. That's crazy. And in all thine abominations, that's Eve. That's since Eve, the nigga woman, the end up is out of her effing mind, right, today. But why? Because we are the comely woman, the Most High, the men to the Most High are his wife, the elect, the men of Israel, and we went off. And we're likened unto his wife, right? So that's why our women now are out of order, because if he can't have his wife, you can't either. If the Most High is the man of man, right? He's the Most High, and yet he has not been able to enjoy his marriage to Israel since he's developed us as a nation. Think about this, you guys. So if the Most High can't have his wife, look at all the men on the earth, at least in America, they can't have theirs either. Look at the state of women, not just our women. The Edomites are going through this too, man. Anybody in America, whatever nation comes to America, those women trip the fuck out, man. They're out of their fucking minds. But it's because of all this. Okay, I'm getting off. And it came, so verse 23, and it came to pass after all thy wickedness, woe unto thee, saith the Lord Yahweh, that thou hast also built unto thee eminent places, and hast made, I want to try to find that thou play, okay, verse 28, thou hast played the whore also with the Assyrians, because thou was unsatiable. Look at this. Yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet couldst not be satisfied. Thou hast moreover multiplied thy fornication in the land of Canaan unto Chaldea, and yet thou wast not satisfied therewith. You keep going. How weak is thine heart, saith the Lord Yahweh, seeing that thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman. You guys, that's bad. Not only are we being called a whore, we're being called imperious. What does this word imperious mean? I think it means like to have an attitude, or to be like you're shameless and you have an attitude. But let me get the imperious. Look at this. So imperious is what? Domineering. Just like when you see a girl, a Jake, getting confronted on TikTok. Why have you been lying to me about my son being my son when he's not, and it's been 7 years? And what's the first thing that comes out of her mouth? Why did you get a DNA test? They don't even start crying. They get mad that the dude finds out. They don't even get shamed. The dude's recording them, and they're getting pissed off that he went to the doctor and got a DNA test. Why? Because right here, how weak is thine heart, saith the Lord Yahweh, seeing thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman. I'm saying all that to go back to, I'm saying Adam and Eve. Adam is Yahweh Shai. Well, who is Eve? Just some random girl? She's a type and shadow of us, you guys. And we have been like Eve to the Most High. I know that sounds disgusting and it may piss some people off, but bro, that's what's up. The way you see Eve acting today is how we have been this entire time. Talking shit and sleeping with everybody. Non-repentant. We have no king but Caesar. Oh my God, man. That came out of our mouths, man. That's insane. So I'm saying all of that. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic, man. I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to suggest that the eyes of a flame, that Yahweh Shai's eyes that are of a flame of fire, are a result of him being in his Father's wisdom. Okay, so I'm almost done with my point. Let me see right here. Let me see. I went way off. Okay, all right. For her sake, I shall have estimation among the multitude, and honor with the elders, though I be young. And I apologize for going all over the place, but Yahweh Shai, come on, you guys. He is he comes in the volume of the book. And in the spirit, you can just, if the spirit will take you, you can be talking about it. And I'll even be forgetting. I'll be like, whoa, this connects to here, to there, and then forget my whole freaking point and sound like a freaking goofball. I apologize if I hope that this is starting to make sense. For her, verse 10, for her sake, I shall have estimation among the multitude and honor with the elders. Though I be young, I shall be found of a quick conceit and judgment, and shall be admired in the sight of great men. When I hold my tongue, they shall abide my leisure, and when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me. If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth. Moreover, by the means of her, I shall obtain immortality, and leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that are come after me. And he is now in his immortality, because he's never going to die again, and the hopefully elect are hoping and waiting on him to come after him after that everlasting memorial. I shall set the people in order, and he's been doing it, and he's going to do it, and the nations shall be subject unto me. There goes that dominion again, that subduing horrible tyrants. And see, this comes after the war. This comes after the fathership and him vaporizing everybody. And everyone's going to be, every time they see Yahweh Shai or even hear about him, face down to the ground. Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war. After I am come into my house. Now look at this. This was the whole point of all of this. After he dominates and destroys everybody and subdues not only the earth from the throne of David, from that fathership and the authority, Isaiah 63, 1 through 4, 1 through 5, Lamentations 4, 21 and 22, right? He's got absolute dominion. What's he going to do? After I am come into my house, I will repose myself with her. Who is the her? The her is wisdom. It's not his wife. It's not the elect, so to speak, but it is. But the priority here is talking about his Father's wisdom. What does repose mean, you guys? Let's go to the etymon. Look at this. Boom! Lie or be at rest. Full of repose. Responsible, trustworthy. He's going to take a vacation after he subdues the earth, and he's going to study, converse, think upon, communicate with, listen to the wisdom of his Father. He's going to fellowship with the wisdom of his Father. Does that make sense? That's what he's going to do, man. Look. And then from there, what? Any man who is athirst, let him come unto me, and I will give him rivers of living water. And what does it say in Revelations? I think it's 14, that the 144,000 chosen, his wife, the other her, right? They follow him wherever he goes. Why do you think that is? It's a multitude of reasons, but just one of them, you guys, he's going to be communicating. He's going to be breaking down things. He's going to be receiving an ongoing download from his Father. And he's going to be giving that same download to his 144,000. It's going to be an on. Come on, man. Does that make sense, you guys? I see you guys do this. I watch your videos all the time. I watch camps where it's not even a lesson, so to speak. It's 4, 6, 10 Israelite men, elders, captains, bishops, communicating just off of the overflow that's in them, and you guys are going back and forth and precept upon precept. It's not even a what's the word? It's not like it's not like you came to camp and you had like 15 points written down on some paper and you guys were going down each point. No, you all just show up and just start talking and it just starts going all over the place. And when I mean going all over the place, I don't mean going all over the place in chaos. I mean going all over the place because the word it's deep, it's the breadth, the height, the width. It's I'm watching you guys do that. And so yeah, after I am come into my house, I will repose myself with her, for her conversation hath no bitterness, and to live with her hath no sorrow, but mirth and joy. Now when I considered these things in myself and pondered them in my heart, how that to be allied with her, allied unto wisdom is immortality, and great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches, and in the exercise of conference with her, prudence, and in talking with her, a good report. Look at all the fruit that comes with fellowshipping with wisdom. I went about seeking about how to take her to me. He's beside himself, you guys. Yahushai, as Solomon, is absolutely beside himself with how to operate and receive and obtain and consume and connect more and more with wisdom. He's going nuts. He's like, oh, I gotta have more. For I was a witty child and had a good spirit. Yea, rather, being good, I came into a body undefiled. Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, I can't do it on my own, except Yahweh, the Most High, my Father, gave her to me. Wow. And that was a point of wisdom also, to know whose gift she was. I'm telling you, man, these words are amazing. I prayed unto the Lord and besought him, and with my whole heart I said, and the next chapter is this wonderful song of prayer that he goes into of needing wisdom. And it's just, I'd never seen Yahushua in this light. Never. I didn't even know the Apocrypha existed until I woke up. Anyways, I got to end this lesson. It's way crazy too long. I hope it makes sense. I want to suggest that the flames, the Yahushua's eyes of a flame of fire, are not specifically a result of him drinking wine, though he did drink wine and he will drink wine again. I'm not hating on wine. I'm not trying to be over spiritual. I'm saying he's in his glorified body. Many years have passed. I don't know the specific years, but I know it's a lot of years have passed since Yahushua saw John and John saw Yahweh. Since John saw Yahushua, and the last time Yahushua drank was at that Passover that he fulfilled. And when Yahushua goes back up to his Father, he now has he's got the 7 eyes and 7 horns. He's in his perfection. He's in his everlasting tabernacle. He's in that body. And it's that Yahushua that is standing before John. And I don't know if his eyes are bloodshot. I think it's more, you guys, based on all of this. If I'm off, I'm going to have to take the correction. Know that I am nervous about this message because I don't want to sound like I'm coming off as I know more. I'm just presenting these precepts and saying that's probably why Yahweh's eyes look like a flame of fire, is because of all this. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and say shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect of Yasharallah. Shalom. I'll talk to you soon.